morning. Actually, I don't see anyone and anything. It doesn't look morning, it's totally black. I'm very happy to be here with all of you, and thank you all for coming. I want to invite to stage a very special guest. He is a visionary leader, the founder of Tinder, Sean Rudd. Please welcome him.
Hello. I can't see anyone.
We can look at each other. Anyway.
We're staring to the abyss. Oh.
Okay, let's do that. We don't control anything, we're just sitting here. Anyway, Sean is, for me, a very special leader, a very special entrepreneur, because he didn't only disrupt the industry that he was working in, he actually changed it upside down. We stopped dating, we started swiping, Tindering. So this was much more than just disruption, this was a cultural change. We will talk about it a lot today. So let's start.
Yeah.
So we talk a lot about Tinder, but actually it didn't start with Tinder. So, Sean, the family, you are from an Iranian Jewish family.
Yes.
That came to the US in the 1970s.
Yes.
So can you share with us how this shaped your identity and your spirit as a leader, as a founder?
Yeah, well, my parents, they had a successful business in Iran, and they got persecuted because they were Jewish, and they left everything, and they had to come to America, and my dad came with $20 in his pocket. He's here.
Wow!
And the family had to build back up from nothing. So I think it instilled in me an ambition to survive, to build a resilience, and yeah, I mean, I'm very grateful to be Jewish in America and in Israel and not in Iran.
Wow, but that's easy.
Yeah.
We will talk about Israel soon, but
Yes.
let's continue with Tinder.
Yeah.
What sparked the idea for Tinder? Like, what problem you were trying to solve?
Well, I think that if I go back to when I was creating it, there were two problems that I was thinking about. One was the phone had just come out, and I sort of felt as much as the phone was connecting us, it was also separating us from reality. This is probably a worse problem today than it was back then. And I was just fascinated with this idea of how can I use the phone to bring us closer to reality and empower us to connect. And at the same time, I felt like people were having trouble meeting. And there was a lot of human issues to that. And for me, it was, if I wanted to meet someone, I was afraid to walk up to them. I was afraid of getting rejected. So all the time, I'm sure this happens to all of us, you see someone and you don't go up to them either because it's inappropriate or you're afraid of that rejection. So all of that I just felt was like a missed opportunity. And the idea behind Tinder was sort of like when I was a kid, if I liked someone, I would ask my friend to go find out if they like me. And it dawned on me, what if Tinder, the app, could play the same role? If I tell Tinder that I like someone, and that person tells Tinder that they like me, then it would be a match and we can connect. So that double opt-in was the big innovation that I think disrupted the space. Before that, anyone can talk to anyone, and you could get rejected more often and you would never get a response. But Tinder really made it so only the people who have an interest in each other are connecting, and it got rid of the noise and it went straight to the point.
Just took the matchmaking, the Jewish matchmaking, and make it digital, right?
At scale, yeah.
At scale.
Global scale.
At a big scale. Maybe should be mentioned that nearly 25%, if I'm not mistaken, of online marriages start on Tinder. Is that correct?
I think it's probably more. I think it's 25% of all marriages.
Of all marriages?
All
wow.
marriages. At one point in the US, maybe that number's bigger now or smaller, but when we did a study, I think in 2016, it was 25% of all marriages were originating from Tinder in the US.
This is huge.
Yeah. A lot of babies out there because of Tinder.
So it's not, we don't have to say that it's very clear to everyone that this was a huge success. A huge success. Not just, okay, we built an app, we had an exit, or whatever, much, much more. I would define it as a new cultural phenomenon. This is how I see it. Yeah. Even though I'm not very familiar with Tinder. I didn't have a chance to use it, as you can guess. But I feel that I know what it's about.
Yeah.
And for me, it's much more than an app.
Yeah, it changed the way an entire generation meets. Hopefully for the better, and it created new connections, billions of new connections that would have never existed. And for me, what's always excited me is how can we bring people together? How can we unite? How can we become closer? How can we create more community and love? I think love and romance is the reason to be alive. So, yeah, it's an honor to be able to do that.
I'm curious, and I want to hear more, because this is really a huge thing that happened. And there are many people here in the room that are founders or want to be founders, potential. And they think, how did it become so successful? Like, how did you make it so impactful?
Well, I think the first thing is I could have never imagined this would happen. Like, if you go back and you told me when I was starting Tinder to create something that will be huge like this, I probably wouldn't have created Tinder. I couldn't have imagined it. And I think that's a lot of founders these days, there's this pressure of having to change the world or do something huge. And I think that pressure is not how innovation happens. I think innovation is more about solving a problem that is close to you as the founder, that is close to your friends, and sort of following the flow of life and following your passions and just letting things unfold. So, I always encourage founders, don't necessarily worry about how big the thing is that you're doing. Focus on the thing that you love and that you're most passionate about, because that's where you're going to create value in the world, and that's where you're going to shine. Passion is the greatest fuel for entrepreneurs. There are other fuels. You can chase money, you can try to prove something, or ego, but I think those are lesser fuels than love.
I strongly agree. Agree. Yes. Thank you. Share. You became very, very successful. I would like to ask you, what lessons did you learn along the journey? Like, what did you have to teach yourself in order to be very successful? What are the stories behind?
I think the biggest thing is that in life, especially as an entrepreneur, you're going to take risks and you're going to fail. And you have two choices when you fail. Either you're going to wallow and you're going to get sad and you're going to blame and back down, or you're going to see it as an opportunity for growth and learn. And I think if you develop the mindset that no matter what happens, it is either an opportunity to learn or an opportunity to win, I think you'll never fail. So how you approach little mistakes or little failures, I think, and that mindset, the optimism, that no matter what happens, I'm going to continue to grow. That resilience is what maybe intuitively I had, but in the hardest times I had to remind myself. Also learned that team is everything. You can't build a company alone. We talk a lot about product market fit, but I don't think we talk enough about founder market fit. And I always encourage founders to first build a team before building a product. So the best companies are the ones where there's a dedication and a passion to each other, but also to the company and what you're doing. And again, if you don't have that, then you're not going to get very far.
So it's about the passion and resilience. Any specific story you want to share?
Oh my gosh, I've gotten beaten down in every way, and I'm still here.
This is more than a story. This is just the fact that you're here after all of this.
Yes.
It wasn't easy, right?
No, it's not easy. I mean, you guys, there's a lot of entrepreneurs here. It's gut wrenching. We play the hardest sport, and yeah, I think nothing will prepare you for. I think Elon Musk has a great quote, which is like, being an entrepreneur is like staring into the abyss and chewing glass. And the only way you could do that and survive is with a deep sense of passion and love for what you're doing, and that creates resilience and belief. You almost have to believe it to see it. In life, we have to see things to believe them. I think entrepreneurs have to believe in things in order to see them. So I think that faith, that belief is critical.
Sean, we are in the middle of a war here in Israel. Very difficult time, emotional, etc. And you decided with some others, amazing group of people, to come to Israel, to stay a week with us here. What made you come?
Well, I love Israel. I love my Jewish roots, and I'll tell you guys a crazy thought, just so you know how much American Jews and Jews around the world support and love Israel and everyone here. This is the only place where a missile bombs hits an airport, and everyone's figuring out how to come here instead of get out. So nothing will keep us away. I think we came here because Israel really is the most innovative place in the world, and the energy here. This is the light. I see Israel as the light of the world, and I think everyone here is fighting for the light and to inspire the rest of the world. So I'm here to hopefully inspire. Hopefully you guys can take one thing away.
Did you hesitate before you come? Like, okay, it's a war. Future Summit decided to have this conference in Israel in May 25, but what the hell is going on there? What did you feel?
I mean, there were moments of hesitation, but then, I really believe God is with us, so I wasn't scared. I've become way more spiritual these days, especially after October 7th. I think such an unfortunate event, but maybe the silver lining is that it woke us all up and united us and brought us together. I'm ready to. I guess I'm ready to die for the Jewish community. So
wow,
it's all.
That's so exciting. Wow. Okay, let's continue. This was wow.
Sorry to be morbid and extreme.
Yeah, that's what we like to hear when we are here with all the issues that we have here. So Israel is the place of the Jewish people, of course, but I want to leave this part for a minute and discuss the high-tech ecosystem. You came here, you got exposed to the high-tech sector and to Israeli entrepreneurs. Was there anything that surprised you?
Well, I think the resilience here is remarkable. I mean, it's unbelievable. Talk about, as an entrepreneur, you have to have resilience. What you guys are able to live through and do is nothing compared to what we have to do in America. I mean, it's just unbelievable, and everyone should be so proud. I think what surprised me, though, is that from what I hear, from what entrepreneurs are telling me, is that there isn't a lot of funding for early stage startups, and I know that is going to change. I hope that is going to change, because I know there's a lot of funds being created here and coming here. And what surprised me is typically you think about Israel as the best at AI, the best at sort of deep tech. But what I'm seeing here now, which I didn't see in the last trip, is much more of a consumer sensibility. In order to succeed, you have to be able to market and you have to be able to inspire. You can't just have a good idea. You have to solve a great problem, but you also have to articulate it and share it with the rest of the world. And I see more of that capability here than I ever have before.
I must agree, and I can tell you that even myself, even though I'm Israeli and I know Israelis, we at Team8 were so surprised is not the right word, but we were shocked to see how quickly our companies and our founders and entrepreneurs got on their feet, with many people around that were missing because they went to Miluim and just continued. And everything continued to work as if it was before. And you say, wow, how?
Well, I was surprised the airport gets bombed and it was like nothing happened.
Yeah, that's another surprise.
Yeah. So it goes to the resilience, it's remarkable.
Yeah, resilience is when we look for founders, maybe let's talk about founders and resilience, because we have here in the room probably many investors and founders. And we all know that in venture, the most important thing is the founders and the character of the founder and his resilience. But can you elaborate more? When you think about a great founder, what comes to mind? How do you choose a great founder?
Yeah, we talked about some of it, which is a deep passion for what you're doing, right? I think it's critical, because you could be the most experienced, smartest person in the space and not have passion. You're not going to get very far. You could also be the least experienced and have a deep sense of purpose and passion, and you will learn everything you need to learn and overcome. So I look for people who are passionate, fast learners. I think it is integrity and honesty is very important, so self-awareness. If you don't have, I guess, the humility or the, put aside the ego and the willingness to learn, whether it's learn from investors or learn from your customers and constantly adapt, you're not going to succeed. But then the other side of that is I also look for a belief and a confidence and an ability to inspire and recruit and bring together a team and align them around clear goals. I think prioritizing and focusing is critical, especially nowadays. And when you're starting a company, there's a million things you can do. I think founders and entrepreneurs are great at working with constraints. So you don't have a lot to work with, but the only way you're going to make a little turn into a lot is if you're focused. And sort of like, I see it as like jiu-jitsu. It's, the person who wins the fight isn't the one who's, just doing that. It's the person who sort of is using the momentum and measuring a bunch of times and with one hit beats the person. So I think founders have to have this ability to prioritize, focus, and have a sense of what is important, because not everything is important. Maybe a myth of an entrepreneurism is that if you work really hard, you're gonna make it. Hard work is not enough. Like, you also have to be strategic, you have to be focused, you have to prioritize well, you have to inspire. So a lot of those soft skills maybe don't get talked about enough.
Yeah, I can't agree more. Actually, I can share with you that when I say passion, humility, all those skills or things that you mentioned, we believe this is the most important thing. And I used to think that you need a basic knowledge in what you're doing in the industry. And we build companies in cyber, fintech, digital health. And one time, just like 2 years ago, we got cyber entrepreneurs telling us, we're sick of cyber, we want to build a fintech company. And we were like, okay, but they know nothing around fintech. So we tried it, we voted for them, we started with them, and they're unbelievable. So,
sometimes not knowing the space gives you an advantage because you get to look at it from
a different
angle and a new perspective. So, experience is important, but experience in life is what I look for more than experience necessarily in the domain. Again, we could sit here and talk about all the technical pieces of being a founder, but I think it's much more interesting to talk about the characters and what makes it, and what makes a successful founder to me is what makes a successful human. And I guess another thing I would say that I've been thinking about this recently is, I'll say something maybe surprising or not, but there are so many lessons in the Torah about being a founder, about being a successful entrepreneur. I've reconnected a lot with my faith and my spirituality. And the more I learn about Judaism, it's not a surprise Jews are conventionally so successful. And I think that's really rooted in our history and our spirituality. And I really encourage everyone to maybe give that a shot, or take another look at the Torah.
Getting closer.
Yeah.
Sean, I think we are getting towards the end, so I just want to ask the last question, and it must be around AI.
Yes.
Because we all see what AI changes in our lives. Do you think there will be a point sometimes in the next few years where AI will change or will create an algorithm that will determine who we will fall in love with?
No, because I think we are the best algorithm for ourselves. And AI is going to change everything, right? And I encourage everyone to study it, to immerse yourself in it, whether you have an AI company or you don't have an AI company. But when it comes to consumer, and when it comes to building products that solve problems for the masses, I wouldn't see AI as a solution as much as a tool. But you still have to go out and be creative and solve real problems. So being an AI company is, to me, like saying you're a mobile company. What does that really mean? Like, I laugh when people say, I have an idea, I want to make an app. I'm like, what does that mean? What is the problem you're solving? What is new about what you're doing? Do you understand the customer? You might use AI to empower you, but AI in and of itself is not a solution. It's saying I'm an AI company is saying like I'm a computer company. Doesn't really tell anyone what you're doing. So I really encourage everyone though to explore the shifts that are the behavioral shifts that are going to come from AI, and study that. But again, when it comes to, maybe AI is more impactful in industry. It's going to really disrupt the way we do everything in industry. It's going to disrupt the way we build companies. So whether you're an AI company, you should be using AI regardless to build your company. But again, when it comes to consumer, I'm not sure AI necessarily will create new magical things. Not yet, at least.
I want to thank Sean, a great leader, entrepreneur, and Zionist. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.